Hello. Oh, I don't know how loud this is because I had to adjust the volume on my microphone earlier. If the volume is high, please feel free to adjust it accordingly. If it's low, likewise. So it's just another mixed drink Monday. And I figured that on this mixed drink Monday, it's funny how I never say what I'm drinking. Um, Today, I just poured the rest of the mead into my Dunkin' drink. All the little wine things are gone, and thank goodness. I am not getting those again. But anyway, I figured I'd open the last booster pack today. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to see. We're going to see what's up today. Now, this is an invitation, as always, to take it as it resonates if it resonates. If it doesn't resonate, don't take it. You don't have to force it. I mean, I guess you don't have to force it either way, right? You don't have to force something to fit. This is the first card. Oh, we're pulling them face up. I guess we're going face up today. I was like, oh, okay. Why is this giving me like chastity belt low key? Because of the skull on the waist. I'm watching a show. And the show that I'm watching, there is someone who has a blessing of the god of fire. And that person kind of sort of dies. They have a fate of sudden death. And then there's an ability, fate plunder, that activates. And basically, if the person can get the blessing of another god within a certain amount of time, then the fate of sudden death is overwritten. And they got a blessing from the god of lightning. So now they have fire and lightning. And I'm seeing like this flame whip, I guess, with the thunder sword. And it's making me, I don't know, of course it brings it to mind. But I'm thinking of like thunder and lightning. Excuse me. Or I'm thinking of fire and lightning. That's interesting. I had a thought the other day. I was like somewhere going. I don't even remember where I was going. I was going somewhere. Matthew, hello. How are you doing? A long time no see. I'm sure it hasn't been that long, but it feels like it. I appreciate you stopping by. You have made my evening. But I was just like riding down the street and I was looking at the clouds and I was like, I wonder what clouds feel like. I was like, I wonder what clouds feel like. Like, if you could touch a cloud, would you feel it? And then for some reason, my brain was like, I wonder if you introduced a charge to the clouds, like if it would create lightning, because that's kind of what lightning is. It's charges jumping across the whatever. So I don't know. But it did make me think of that. Hello. It is a Matthew, right? He's making everyone's evening tonight. How are you doing, Holly? This is interesting. This is so interesting. Okay. This is Baylor. A huge fiend, demon, challenge 19, armor class of 19, 262 hit points, It has a run speed of 40, a flying speed of 80, so it can fly twice as fast. Its attacks are death throws, fire aura, long sword, whip, and teleport. And it has 26 strength, 15 dexterity, 22 constitution, 20 intelligence, 16 wisdom, and 22 charisma. This is so interesting because I'm rewatching The Magicians, and there's someone named Baylor, and Baylor shows up as like part of the Foo Fighters. Um, it's like the Felorian fighters or something, fighters for Fillory. I don't know. So in the show that I'm watching, there's this Narnia like kingdom. Um, there's this Narnia like place that exists, and there's a lot of magic there. And for some reason, only children of Earth or people from Earth can sit on the throne. Now, there's been, I think it was like 40 years or something between the last children of Earth that held a rule and the children of Earth set from like where the show is. And in the meantime, there's been children of Earth like that will come and go and come and go, but no rule has lasted. The country has kind of sort of fallen into ruin. And they're like, well, it should be like, since the children of Earth come and go, like people from this land should be the ones to rule it or whatever. So anyway, there's our new children of Earth that we're following in the series, and one of the Foo Fighters shows up and tries to like assassinate him, and his name is Baylor. And it turns out, so the king, the High King, who is a child of Earth, is promised to a woman who, before she married the High King, it turns out she was also a part of the Foo Fighters because she loves the like where she's from and she wants it to thrive, right? But anyway, his name is Baylor. That's all I didn't expect. I didn't expect to flip it over and see Baylor. What do we do with this? I'm going to turn this. So I've seen this card. So I'm going to take this card, but I'm going to turn it so that we go face down. Planes, after spending all day trying to track down a rare tome, you're about to give up when you hear your name whispered from a dark alley. Oh, so is Baylor waiting in a dark alley? This is interesting because we've had two deck dungeons with two different tomes, the Tome of Understanding and the Tome of Clear Thought. See, this is, I would pull Fable Maker. Should I do it? I don't feel like it. You're watching a dragonfly zip around the backyard. Ooh. My journey buddy was just talking about how it's like 8:30 and still sunlight out, and then it made me think of you. Eternal sunshine until winter comes. Should I do it? You know what? I don't think I have it on my laptop actually. I think it's only on my desktop. I'm going live from my laptop. That's why it looks a little different. I guess I'm not going to do it. I don't think I ever put it on my phone either. I'm pretty sure I didn't actually. It might have gotten emailed to me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hold up. Oh, oh no. I'm looking for this email and I see my water bill. It was due at the end of the month. So when I paid my bills, I didn't pay it because I was like, I'll get paid then, so I'll just wait. But when I reached the end of the month, I thought I paid all my bills for the month. So I forgot. Because I got sent the one for this month and it was like double what it usually is. So I was like, did I forget again? I thought I paid all of them. I did. I need to just like, 1 month I did really good at putting everything in my phone so that I would remember. And I need to keep up on that. Sometimes I just forget. I forgot. When did I get this deck? I got this deck after I got back, right? Yeah. I still need to order those card protectors. Oh, this is it right here. I was about to say, it's fine. We'll just here's your digital. Yep, here's my PDFs. Do. Can I? Okay. So I'm probably, I don't know how long this is going to take. Oh, it's almost done. Okay. That was cool. Oh, wait, like open it. Open it. What am I selecting it for? Can I just like not open the file? 1 second. You would think that I would have this streamlined at some time. Oh, extract. There we go. Yay. Ooh, so fast. Cool. Cool. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Now I have it on my phone. Okay, so cool. Now I'm not going to pull the cards out of that deck. I'm going to use the Dungeons and Dragons Tarot. Since this is the Dungeons and Dragons Commander booster packs. I'm just curious. Why did this give me Deck Dungeon? Oh, because of the tomes. That's why. Excuse me. We've seen the Tome of Understanding from the Archmage of Water. And then the Tome of Clear Thought from the Archmage of Air. Now, majors don't have dungeons assigned, so okay, let's look. We'll see. Also, there's 2 shows that I'm watching right now that have labyrinth cities and they're set in deserts or desert-like areas. And it's not that it's super deserty, but it's kind of giving me desert a little bit. Also, there's something about this. Maybe it's all the castles in the back or the spires or whatever in the back that makes me think of the gates. Like on one of these booster packs, we had 2 gates back to back, and it was like a gate of shadow and a gate of light that were like facing each other. And then there's the devil. The devil and this 4 dragon's horde at the cut. Interesting. Because of this guy. So I guess Baylor is the one that's whispering in the alley. I'm assuming. I'm gonna pull it. I guess I'll get it face up. All right. Anytime. I'm gonna keep shuffling until something comes out. This may be the last mixed drink Monday, so just because I guess there's a whole bottle of like tequila that I've had for almost a year now that I haven't opened. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. I didn't necessarily plan on buying any more alcohol, although I try to keep bottles of mead, like, because I love mead. Okay, don't judge me. So whenever I'm on my last bottle, I get like 2 more. But I don't plan on buying any more alcohol, so that's why I was like, this may be the last one. All right. Alcohol aside, if it's a major or one of my high priestess cards, then I will, like, it's no dungeon. Okay. All right, I'm ready. If you're ready, please. I'm going to keep going until I get a card. So. Maybe. Okay, there we go. I was about to say, maybe not. Is this the 2 of Swords? This 5 is at the bottom of the deck. I don't know what it's the 5 of. This is the 2 of Swords. Because the 2 of Swords literally popped into my mind. That's why I said like one of my High Priestess cards. Because I was going to say the High Priestess. But then I was like, well, what if the 2 of Swords comes out? And the 2 of Swords is my my minor High Priestess. Is this the 2 of Intelligence? No, this is not the 2 of Intelligence. I saw the sword and I was like, wait. Okay. It's not the 2 of Strength. It's the 2 of Wisdom, which is like the 2 of Cups. Well, that's the 2 of Wisdom. Interesting. Now, this egg looks like the eggs in the Dreams of Gaia tarot. The ones like with dragons. I mean, no A's for drinking, but I like to drink. And I like drinking in social settings, but I don't like being around drunk people. So it's kind of weird. I don't. Yeah, it was. That's why I'm on subscriber. Oh no, today. I don't know if you got that or not, but I was like, yeah, I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was happening. I told my mom, I was like, I think I was just trolled. I was like, I don't know where all these people came from. Okay. I wish I did, but I don't. I want to or just play a campaign at all. You got this. Holly's right. You can do it. We believe in you. It is a challenge that you can rise to the occasion of. Being able to be with someone, whether a friend or lover, and still retain your own sense of individuality. You are approached by the captain of the city guard to see if you will track down and capture a dangerous criminal. Interesting. So is it the captain of the guard that's whispering your name from a dark alley? And not Baylor? Is Baylor the dangerous criminal? Like, what's going on here? And I feel like we haven't had like the captain of the guard, I guess, has been we've seen it on multiple sides. We've seen like the village watch that's like vigilant and heroic. You can't see my air quotes. But we've also seen like the corrupted guard, the ones that killed the pious guy because he was like, "We're guards, like we should do the right thing." And then he was like, "We're guards, we do what we want and we can get away with it because we're the one that make the rules and enforce them." And he was like, "No, but we should be like whatever." And they got rid of him. It was like, "Yeah, we don't need that energy here. Integrity, please." What do you think this is? So the Two of Cups dungeon challenge. Let's see. Oh, this is the whispers from the weave. Give me one moment. This ain't got no bookmarks in it. And it's gonna take a second to load. That's one thing I kind of don't get. Like, if I downloaded this, why does it take time to like pull it up? Like, shouldn't it just be there? But maybe it's a part of RAM or something. Oh, here we go. Okay. Those are the fate altering boons. Here is the deck dungeon challenges. Chalices. Okay. So two of challenges. So a number of chalices equal to the number of the card drawn rest on plinths in the center of the room set 10 feet apart. Each chalice contains a sparkling blue liquid. One chalice in each room contains a silver key, which unlocks the door. To retrieve the key, a creature must drink the entire contents of the correct chalice, which can be identified with a wisdom or intelligence check. So either perception or investigation. The DC depends on the number of chalices. So this is actually the easiest one. Since there's only two chalices, it only requires a DC of 10. Drinking from an incorrect chalice deals 2d4 cold damage to the drinker. Drinking the entire contents of the correct chalice heals the drinker 2d8 hit points and causes the key to appear in the empty chalice. The key does not appear if the liquid is not consumed. If the liquid is spilled from the chalice, it magically refills after 6 seconds. Okay. So this is like oh, look. And we even have, I guess this is what the challenges look like. I don't know. At the bottom of the deck. Interesting. Two chalices diverge in an empty wood. Look at these swords. They're not entirely similar, but they share some characteristics, kind of. Is Baylor the captain of the guard? So it has a DC of 10. I guess at this point, if it were a vial, then it'd be less liquid to drink. So this falls under the domain. So this is a chalice challenge. We've seen the archmage of challenges. Why do I keep saying challenges? We've seen the archmage of chalices. You could ask him 3 yes or no questions and get a truthful answer. Now, if we ask thought provoking questions or something like that, then we are rewarded with the tome of understanding. And the tome of understanding has the potential to increase our wisdom beyond um, natural sort of means. Like stats hard cap at 20. I guess, is it a hard cap if you can work around it? Yeah, sure. Stats cap at 20, but there are some things that can take you above the cap. And that tome of understanding is something that can take you above the cap. So with superhuman wisdom, let's see, you get superhuman perception, but I'm gonna wisdom modifier 5e. Ability scores. Let's see. Wisdom measures perception and insight. There's the modifiers. So it's easy. A DC of 10 is easy. So this is supposed to be easy. Okay, here we go. So wisdom, we get supernatural, animal handling, insight, medicine, perception, and survival. Those are all affected by wisdom. We've also seen 2, though. This is in the realm of chalices, but it said either wisdom or intellect. We've met the archmage of intellect, who gives us a test of our logic and integrity. And if we pass that, then we get the tome of clear thought, which can lead to superhuman intelligence. And that would affect arcana, history, investigation, nature, and religion. So we could kind of do either one. And I guess you could go to your favorite random number generator and generate a number between 1 and 20. Or if you have a d20, you could roll the d20. And if you roll a 10 or higher, you would choose the correct chalice. And you would get the silver key after you drink the contents of the chalice. You could heal up to 16 points and move forward. What did I do? I'm like, why did I don't ever tie this like this. Of course, I'm gonna roll the d20. So if you have Google, you can ask Google to roll a d20. If you have Siri, you might be able to ask Siri to roll a d20. I don't know if Bixby does it. When I first got Bixby was doing it, but now Bixby only knows how to roll a d6, which is a standard die. So guess I'll just roll it on the table. I rolled an 8. Wow. But with the tome of, with either the tome of clear thought or the tome of understanding, it adds 2. So then it would be like +2. So it would meet it. Let's do that again. This is my luck in real life. I fail most things. I mean, like whenever I play. I think it depends on the character though. Because one character I had to roll. I wanted to dual wield quarterstaffs, and I had to roll for proficiency in quarterstaffs, and then I had to roll if I would be proficient in it. And I rolled nat 20s twice. That character was really lucky. Most of the other characters I play, I roll like garbage. But that character, he was a monk. Maybe that's why. 15. Okay. So maybe like with wisdom or with perception, it's like with the tome of understanding, maybe we'd be able to perceive it. But investigation, we passed. smarter than I am wise. It's decent. Okay, so anyway, and it's a silver key. We just saw, I feel like we've seen the Hierophant recently. A natural six. I feel like you'd be wiser than that. I wonder what my stats would be. I don't know. Okay, next card. Well, the next card is Undercity, and we've seen this before. Take the initiative and go into the Undercity. We saw the Undercity the first time we saw Mazzy, the True Sword Paladin. And I'm pretty sure that reading ended in the first challenge, the first trial from the command tower or something like that. Um, and there was like the displacer cat and some other stuff. And there was one point where there was like a tower from a city that had been like submerged in like sand. Now, this could literally be like under the city, though, right? After spending all day trying to track down a rare tome, you're about to give up when you hear your name whispered from a dark alley. So it could be like under this city. I'm also playing like kind of sort of playing Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. And there's a city under the city. And in the city under the city, there's the Thousand Year Door. Now, in Take the Initiative, we have this door that's opening. Also, in a recent live, in the one where I used the Dungeons and Dragons tarot, actually, and I used the Fable Makers, and maybe another one. There was the door. There was the quest of the door. It was like a librarian um, asks you to investigate a mysterious door in the basement that has like runes etched into it or something. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It's not that guy. So here we see this door again. Now this door, the skull on this door, that's the 5 of intelligence. This is the 5 of cups at the bottom of the deck. So I don't know if this is another room. So after we get the silver key from that room, then we have to go at the 5. It's a DC of 14. So, like, assuming we pass the challenge of the 2 of chalices, then we would encounter the challenge of the 5 of chalices. I rolled a 15 on the second roll. So, if the first roll is wisdom and the second roll is intelligence, we would be smart enough, we would be intelligent enough to clear both rooms, but we wouldn't be perceptive enough to, which is interesting. And they're fighting. I wonder if this is almost a little bit of like a tug of war between wisdom and intelligence, between perception and investigation. And I think that's interesting. Oh, snap. Eve. Hello, Eve. How are you? How are you? Sorry, I don't know. I don't know why I said that like that. I almost wonder, because if we go off of immediate perception, we could miss it. But if we do some investigating, then we would get it. And I guess in my mind, it's almost playing out how like sometimes our intuition will tell us something, and maybe we won't just like trust it, and so we'll do some investigating. I'm watching another show, or I just finished another show with my mom. Um, I kind of roped her into watching it when it was 3 episodes in. Um, so you're acceptable. Well, hey, it's not the end of the month anymore. Um, and there's someone who dreams, who has not precognitive dreams. She has premonitions in her dreams. And it's almost like it's not until the last episode or the last 2 episodes that she discovers that she dreams in parts. Or people are like, she doesn't see the whole thing when she dreams, she only sees a part of it. So there are some times when, because she perceives what she perceives through her dreams, she gets a certain understanding of how things will play out, but it's not always the whole picture. Then you get another character in who's like, well, she's just having the dreams. Like it's up to us to interpret them. And so then it's like she brings the investigation. And when they involve investigation as well as the premonition perception, then things play out differently. There are, it's like, there are certain things that because of her dream she views as inevitable and like dangerous, but with active participation and a little bit of investigation, um, they end up sort of turning around. Then instead of curses, or then instead of her gift being a curse, it becomes a gift again because she doesn't submit herself fully to the bits and pieces that she's able to perceive. So questioning our intuition may not always be a bad thing, because if we go off of immediate perceptions, we could be wrong. Interesting. Only the high priestess sees in totality. So, oof, smacking mosquitoes. Wait, are you outside or inside? They can get anywhere. That's interesting. And I guess it's interesting because for like so many times, it is the question of like, well, how can I trust my, like, I feel like in so many instances or circumstances, the intuition and even discernment can be treated as or viewed as like irrefutable, whatever. Like just trust it. You don't need to know the how and why. And of course, there are circumstances and instances where, like, yeah, just trust it. You don't need to know. It's going to work out. But there are certain times, again, like that's why when the title card comes out, I honor it and respect it. And depending on the flavor of the high priestess, I'll do the same. Because sometimes if we know too much too soon, we'll be missing like vital parts of the context of the thing. So we'll have a completely different, uh, we'll arrive at a completely different conclusion than if we had more of the information, or if we had the information that we'll have when we actually reach that point in time. Like, I can't tell you what I'm going to do tomorrow based off the circumstances of today because something might happen tonight that'll change the way that, like, that may change the choice or decision that I make. There are certain things that are for tomorrow. Anyway, It's the initiative. Like we have to take the initiative to investigate. It's not to completely disregard, but again, it's interesting that the perception failed, but the investigation succeeded both times. Excuse me. Okay. Ooh, oh, the swamp. Now that you've clearly hit the marsh part of Lizard Marsh, you begin to worry about the lizard part. Oh gosh. I'm sorry, that's funny to me. Now that you've hit the marsh part of Lizard Marsh, you begin to worry about the lizard part. Wrathful red dragon. So this is a flying creature. Whenever a dragon you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon. We'll put it all back. The gems, the gold, the chalice that would have looked great on my mantle. We'll put everything. Now, what's interesting, you see this red dragon. Remember at the cut, it was the devil and the four of whatever. That was a dragon coiled around its stash. Nope, not that one. And it's funny that it mentions chalice too, because it's about the deck challenge or the deck dungeon challenge was about choosing the right chalice. You saw this guy at the cut with the devil. Look, it's another red dragon. Guess I should have just pulled it. Whenever a dragon you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target. This wrathful red dragon deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon. So happy early birthday. You're going to Maine in September? What? I feel like I just saw something about Maine. It was like a pun in a word or something. I want to go somewhere so bad. I want to go somewhere so bad. I want to travel. It's fine. I may be able to. So it's also interesting that so you reach the marsh part of Lizard Marsh, you begin to worry about the lizard part, and then the dragon shows up, which is like a lizard with legs and wings. I guess lizards have legs. It's a lizard with wings. I was thinking snakes, I guess. This is so weird. There's almost this energy of I don't know what part Baylor plays in this. But it's almost like there's something about dragons being immune to the wrathful red dragon. Like dragons are the only thing that the red dragon will not take its wrath out upon. And so it's almost like there is some kind of kinship between you and something that guards something else, for instance. And somebody wants the something else, but they don't have the same bond that you have. And so it's like they almost try to get you to get it for them. Because the red dragon will take out its wrath on them if they were to even approach the gems, the gold, or the chalice. But for you, with this two of cups sort of energy, like you could do it. And so they find you when you get pulled into some dark alley and they're like, hey, maybe it's the tome, the gems, the gold, the chalice, or the tome that you're looking for. Like you're looking for the tome and they're looking for something else. Now, because the lizard part of Lizard Marsh is communicated as worry, it's almost like you wouldn't know that you have this bond of kinship. I guess whoever they are. Ariel, oh my gosh. I was gonna say oh my snap. I was gonna say oh snap and oh my gosh. And it got weird in my brain. Oh my snap. How are you doing? Um so when is it? It's September? I have to see if I have vacation. The good thing about getting a new job means new vacation because I already burned through so much of it. But if I can get it, I will be there. I will be there. We can go find Matthew and have a belated birthday celebration / birthday celebration. It's been oof. I don't even know what I've done this year. I feel like this year has been like I don't know. I guess it is the year of the dragon too. So yeah, I don't know if you would know that you have this bond with this dragon. I don't know if they would know if you have this bond. If they don't know that you have a bond with this dragon energy, then they're just planning on sacrificing you, I guess. They don't know if you'll be okay or not. If they do know, then they're just like using you. I don't know if one is necessarily better or worse than the other. It feels like they know enough to not go themselves, though. And it's interesting because I mentioned, or I was talking about recently, like personal accounts, and how I was like, if you're the daughter, sister, brother, cousin, son, uncle, nephew of somebody, then you can have a completely different experience than someone else that doesn't have that same relation. And here it is, sort of in a way. Genex, the Astral Hunter, is the next card. It's a legendary creature, and guess what? It's another red dragon. Flight of the Red Dragons, apparently, today. So, whenever Genex Astral Hunter or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a treasure token. Now, the Wrathful Red Dragon it's tougher and stronger than Genex Astral Hunter. And it's interesting that it's Astral Hunter because it's almost like this it's guarded in both the physical and spiritual sort of plane. Like if it's spiritually, astrally, they gotta face Ganax. If it's not, then they gotta face this wrathful red dragon. And then we have the street urchin, which is a background. Okay. Choose a back. I don't know if Ganax is a street urchin. Commander creatures you own have sacrifice another creature or an artifact. This creature deals 1 damage to any target. Your harsh upbringing on the streets of the city left you crafty, resilient, and wise beyond your years. They mention wise beyond your years, but the wisdom roll still failed. Now, because he's dressed in red, I wonder if this street urchin is Ganax. Usually, the background that comes immediately after the choose a background, I associate with the one that's like choose a background. But with the street urchin background, Ganax, the Astral Hunter, would be the one whispering from a dark alley. So, this person that invites you to take the chalice, the gem, the gold from the dragon, that may or may not know that you're looking for this rare tome that I'm assuming is guarded by the dragon, is actually a dragon. This dragon knows that you have, in the story of this booster pack, this dragon knows that you are kin. You don't. But I guess you'll find out when you meet the wrathful red dragon, but you see a different face. You won't find the wrath of this red dragon because that wrath is only turned against non-dragon creatures. I feel like my head is starting to hurt. Okay, cool. So I guess there's nothing quite so nefarious here. And again, it's like the Two of Cups. Now, I'm gonna do it. Oh, gosh. I don't have my Be Right Back screen. I guess I don't need it. I'm just gonna roll over here and oh, hold on. No, I'm not. I feel like I literally just saw this. Okay. Because of this egg that looks oddly like the dragon eggs in the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, I'm going to grab the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. I'm going to pull before and after I think it's the Ace of Fire. And we'll see. We'll see what's happening. I really thought this stuff was not back here. See, but what had happened was I had pulled so many decks out that I basically ended up rearranging everything when I went to put them all back. And so now I have decks in places that they weren't before. And I don't know where they are all over again. That's like high key me though. That's the kind of person I am. Oh, sorry, there's the Yggdrasil. Norse divination cards. Just no, that's the Java Oracle. I pulled that out recently. Where's this deck? Hello. I'm the kind of person that'll put something in a certain place and I'll forget where it is. And I'll be looking and looking and looking, and then I'll move it somewhere else. And then I'll look for it where it used to be. It's like it's not until I move it somewhere else that I'm like, oh yeah, that's where I always keep this thing that I always put in the same place. Goodness. All right. I feel like I didn't necessarily grab as many extra cards any other time, but it's fine. Especially since I'm using my laptop, that's like a good third of the desk that I don't have access to. Because I got a laptop sitting on it. Now I could move my laptop. No, I can't. It's fine. All right, I'm going to shuffle it first. I'm not going to take this as is. All right. See ya. It was nice seeing you. All right, I'll give it one more. Ooh. So you see the egg and death rebirth? It looks similar. Look, there's even a skull. It's in between the Three of Fire and the Journey. Interestingly enough. So they don't hold eggs. But I guess I'll still pull before and after the One of Fire. I've also been looking for that egg. I've seen green eggs. No hand. There, okay. So there is an egg on the Ace of Fire. It's not necessarily the same, but we see the spider web on it. It's in between the Three of Air and the King of Water. You are wise beyond your years. The King of Chalices deck dungeon challenge was about wisdom. He's the one that gives you the Tome of Understanding. Now this gate, oh my gosh. The King of Earth. We haven't seen his challenge yet. Is on the other side. King of Earth, Queen of Fire is outside of those two. And then the Queen of Water is right there on the other side of the King of Earth. Now I gotta go find this other card. We actually saw this card too. The last time I used this deck. I ended up getting like 13 cards instead of just one. It's fine. Was it a 7? It was the one with the anglerfish. This card. I didn't pull before and after the card. Remember this card with the red dragon on it? With another red dragon on it. Hold it up because of these, like something about these made me think of these rings. And then you even see the spirit of a dragon up there. Oh, a skull down there. And some open books. Maybe that's the tome that we've been seeking. This spider is giving me like fate, destiny. Good night, Holly. Ooh, enjoy dinner. The skull with the egg on it from Death Rebirth. Of course, with the skull in this card. It was on another dragon. I knew it was towards the top. So in this Ace of Water, which is Ace of Chalices, you see like the little heart? I saw this dragon first. And I was like, oh, maybe all the dragons don't have eggs, but I thought the one of fire had an egg. This heart and this King of Water, that heart right there, right here, and this one, they feel connected to me. There's a story about a dragon and a pearl. If you have that one deck, it's in the suit of chalices. I don't know what the card is specifically. I don't remember. It's the deck, like it has a bunch of different figures in it. Like I think Gilgamesh and Enkidu are on the Two of Cups in that deck. See, we see the crown of the triple goddess here, which is giving me moon energy, intuition, intuitive forces, which makes me think of the silver key that's in the challenge because in the chalice, I keep saying challenge instead of chalice. The silver key that's in the chalice, because on the Hierophant card, there's the key of silver and the key of gold, the two keys of the kingdom. The key of silver related to the sun, the key of gold, the key of silver related to the moon, the key of gold related to the sun. But our perception wasn't strong enough to identify that key. We had to use our investigative skills. I'm like trying to make room. But it feels like our perception isn't as good as it should be for some reason. And because it's not as good as it should be, we misperceive. Like we see certain things, but we don't necessarily arrive to the right conclusion. Again, it kind of goes back to data information. Like we're seeing all the data, but we're not getting the right information from the data set. And Red Dragon is like, girl, like, Red Dragon is like, you're one of us. Like, hello. um, so if I were to 3Dify this, or bring it down, one way that this could be applied is, let's say that there is some kind of talent, gift, skill, ability that you possess, but you don't necessarily see yourself as possessing that, but others do. And again, this isn't it. It clarified itself. This is not the specific context where it's someone that's trying to take advantage of you. This is someone who's trying to get you to see the truth of who you are. And so, like, let's say that you are a musician, but you don't think you're good enough, but you're like actually amazing, but you don't think that you're that talented. So, this is someone who would like enter you in a competition, or someone like, let's say you send them a sample of something. This would be someone who like posts it, or they like put it on Spotify and Apple Music, and then it goes viral, and they give you like the proceeds of it because it's your talent. Like, not only would they give you the money because it's your talent that is generating that, but they would also be giving you like that validation that you're actually like really talented. And so maybe it's one of those like, how do you not hear how talented you are? Or how do you not see how capable you are? And that's where like your self perception is off. But if you were to go through like your accomplishments, your achievements, and the things that you've overcome, you would realize that you are a lot more than you view yourself as, or than you give yourself credit for. If I had to like bring this down in some way, it would be that kind of energy. Interesting. Okay, I love that because I fully, for a second, I thought this was somebody like trying to take advantage of it, but it's like it's not. And it can, I guess it could be, but here specifically, this is not the case. Okay. Next card, Lizel Vladkith's Champion. This is a legendary gift warrior. If you would put one or more counters on a creature or planeswalker you control or on yourself, put that many +1 on each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead. I don't know. I'm like, what? What does this mean? If you put one or more counters on a creature or planeswalker you control or on yourself, put that many +1 of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent player or creature instead. So would you just get an extra one? The permanent or player. Lizel. Lizel Minnelli. She was talented. I'm like, what is this? What? Okay. On the creature or planeswalker that you control. Okay. Because I was said like on that permanent or player. I was like, what does it mean on that? Like, which one is that one? The one that you were gonna put it on, duh. So it's that many +1 of each. So it's not just an extra one counter, it's actually an extra of each you would put on it. Now, I thought we had something that did that. I guess not, because these are all the cards. I don't know why I thought we had a card that was like, put a counter on it. Maybe it was this um, treasure token. Maybe we'll get one. I don't know. And then we have Taunting Kobold. This one again. Whenever Taunting Kobold attacks, go target creature an opponent controls. Until your next turn, that creature attacks each combat if able, and attacks a player other than you if able. Pozo's heart was full of courage right up until it was full of elven steel. Oh my gosh. Its heart was full of courage until it was filled with elven steel. We've actually seen the Taunting Kobold before. The Taunting Kobold was part of Mazzy's fire trial, the first trial. And there was a Taunting Kobold with the fire jewel or fire gem that would basically spawn endless, like more and more and more Taunting Kobolds. But this is a singular individual one. I don't think I'm going to be able to grab. Yeah, I will, maybe. No. I can grab the fire diamond. This is the fire diamond. It was this is the sky diamond. It's not even the right diamond. Wow, this is the sky diamond. I literally just finished watching a show yesterday or the day before yesterday. And they had an ice stone, and the ice stone was basically a sky diamond. It was a stone that had the power of the sky in it. Cool. I don't even know if I had reached that part. I don't think I did when I pulled that. No, because I just saw that recently. Wow. Look at that. This taunting kobold, it attracts attention, but it doesn't have the ability to do anything. It has 0 power. So unless you put a token on it or uh, empower it in some other kind of way, It can goad you. See, but it gets you, not only do you have to attack, but you have to attack a different player if able. But it doesn't do anything. Again, like it has no strength. Where is this taunting kobold? I mean, we still have this. I wonder if this Lizel Vlacketh's champion is like an ally. Like my frame, my quotes are off screen. I wonder if this is like an ally that's being distracted, being goaded by this taunting kobold. Or someone that like we know or someone that we're gonna encounter or something like that. Next, we have the Blood Boil Sorcerer. This is a human shaman. Whenever Blood Boil Sorcerer enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. Crown of Madness for 2 mana, one of which is fire. Sacrifice an artifact or creature. Goad target creature. Until your next turn, that creature attacks each combat if able, and attacks a player other than you if able. And we see this Blood Boil Sorcerer. It's like controlling. So let me see if you can see the art. You see, he's like hiding behind the corner, but controlling whoever that is. There's like the skeleton type thing. I don't know what that is. Like the stormtrooper looking thing. It has like red glowy eyes right there. Like here's this person being distracted by what's in front of them, but they're being controlled by this blood boil sorcerer on the other side of the wall. This is obviously it's a distraction. Hmm. I would say because the kobold is not a dragon. This is almost like with Mazzy, the True Sword Paladin. We saw that she was being prepared for something. So, like, she was brought into the fold. She had undergone her trials right as a new evil was poised to take center stage. And it's almost like the same is happening here. So there's the part, it's like as you are pulled into Dragonland through this magical Dragonland portal that we've seen in both of these. Well, I looked for this one because it reminded me of the other one. I didn't pull this card when I saw it. I should have. Because we saw with the two elves, it was the portal from the other side, and I saw that as I was looking for this other card. I'm pretty sure it was close to the bottom. Here it is, close to the bottom, like I said. What is this rune? Is this rune Elks? That's what it is. These are the two cards that's in between. Almost like someone finding out their red dragon lineage and then joining forces again. It's like it was giving ally. This with these elven gentlemen, you see that sword? One of them holds a sword, the other one holds a twig. That's the elven steel, I guess, that punctures Pozo's courage-filled heart. Um, so it's almost like, and again, these two portals were like linked. Um, so it's like you're being pulled in to Dragonland, where you find out that you are akin to the dragons. And it's almost like at the same time, or not too long after you find that out, there's someone who makes a move to take the gold gems, chalice, or whatever, to take the hoard of the dragon. Now, this taunting kobold is important because this goading, taunting kobold pulls the wrath of this wrathful red dragon. And this blood boil sorcerer is good at misdirecting emotion. And so, as long as there's someone to misdirect to, then the blood boil sorcerer will keep misdirecting these red dragons. There's two goaters and there's two red dragons. Everything is red, by the way. And the blood boil sorcerer is misdirecting the dragon so he can take the treasure. This is the energy that will use somebody, that will sacrifice somebody else. This is very Lord Farquaad from Shrek. Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice that I am willing to make. See, but what the blood boil sorcerer doesn't count on is you being there. Because you're this additional piece that's brought into the fold, almost like after all the preparation has been done. Like this blood boil sorcerer is cowardly and cautious enough that it wouldn't make a move without knowing basically the full scope of the situation. But since you're so new to something, like you're impossible to account for. And I guess it's hoped that when you enter the situation, instead of you siding with the blood boil sorcerer to steal whatever the hoard of the dragons is, like you'll recognize like that bond of kinship will be ignited within you and you will help protect it. Because it's almost like it wouldn't be something that you have to steal or take from. Like you own it. You have a part in it. You are a part of it. So you have a part of it. Oops, two cards. Now we have Wild Magic Surge. Instant. Destroy target permanent and opponent controls. Its controller reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a permanent card that shares a card type with that permanent. They put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of their library in a random order. And this is, again, another red card. Wild Magic Surge. Now, these little purple lashes of whatever and Wild Magic Surge is low key giving me Flame Lash, Flame Whip of Baylor. But it's a different color of flame. A violet flame. doesn't exist, there was a point in time where I was seeing so much, like in different video. Like I think one of them was I sent it to my mom. I think maybe not. Like it wasn't even on YouTube. It was like the color purple doesn't exist. It may have been like a Facebook thing, and then I saw somebody upload and then re-upload like the color purple doesn't exist on YouTube. Like there are no purple photons. So when you have like red and blue, purple is a color that our brains make up when it sees both red and blue, but not green. Because with light, like the presence of red and blue would give something like though the energy would sort of meet in the middle and it would be green, but we have receptors to pick up green. So our brain is like, what's red plus blue in light, but it's not green and it's like purple. So it's like the violet flame doesn't exist, but we've already been given two chances to enter the world of the supernatural. We've already been given two chances to go above and beyond in seeking this tome, this rare tome that has the power to increase our whatever beyond human standard human capabilities. The tome of understanding that increases our wisdom, the tome of clear thought that increases our intelligence, and I'm sure the kings of pentacles and earth is pentacles. Fire, the kings of fire and earth also have tomes. I'm assuming based off of the two that I saw. So assumptions aren't like the best, whatever, but it's whatever's in this book. This wild magic surge gives the person the long lost art of like the violet flame or something. And I know the violet flame is like a thing, okay? I know, I've heard plenty of people talk about the violet flame. But it's just like that there are no like purple photons. Purple light isn't emitted from anything because those photons don't exist. We perceive blue and red at the same time, and our brains know that it's not green, so it invents something. There's this almost like low key kind of crazy, um, not super crazy, but it's like this almost like the things that are imagined being real type of energy. Like, oh, I thought that was something that I made up when I was a kid. And it's like, no, you thought you made it up when you were a kid because when you were a kid, you could see it. And now that you don't see it, you think you must have made it up. You heard somebody on the YouTube or the whatever say that, oh, purple photons don't exist. So you go, oh, well, if purple doesn't exist, I must have imagined it, that I saw that. It's like, maybe you saw what you saw. Maybe you did what you thought you did. I don't know. Anyway. It destroys target permanent and opponent controls. It destroys the blood boil sorcerer. This violet flame destroys whatever this red goading magic is. And I guess I'm assuming you are the wielder of the violet flame. Or the beseecher of the violet flame. Oh, two cards again. Next we have Cloud Kill. All creatures get -X until the end of turn, where X is the greatest mana value of a commander you own on the battlefield or in the command zone. As the acrid fumes drifted through the lower city, even the vermin ceased to stir. Oh. So y'all know I never actually showed this, but y'all know I've been like mentioning the skull, right? The skull that's on the door of this, the initiative into the Undercity. Remember, like Baylor's chastity belt thing? There's a skull right there. We've seen the skull on the card of the egg in Death and Rebirth. We also see the skull in here with this book. This is also a point to introduce caution whenever we are interacting with forces that we do not know or understand or are not familiar with. I mean, even the dastardly is able to appear as divine for at least a short amount of time before the truth of their intentions or energy is like necessarily known. So discernment, the intuition, I don't know. There's this whole whatever, but also like there's this skull in the fumes here. So that's what brought me back to the skull. Just a little bit of warning. Sometimes we think it's like there was a movie about it was like something probably in the Nun. The Nun was a movie. It's not Paranormal Activity. The Exorcist, maybe it was one of the Exorcist movies. Did y'all catch? I don't think I talked about it. Apparently, I don't know. It from what I read, it sounded like the purpose was for more of the validation and verification of supernatural phenomena. But the Catholic Church, like the Pope, released new guidelines for like verifying apparitions, and apparitions defined as like angels, Mary, Jesus, anything holy that like incarnates. Like I was like, I didn't even know they had guidelines to like validate and verify. But I guess if someone claims to like have seen an angel or whatever, and they go to the Catholic Church, there are those that verify those claims. Um, but it was a movie that came to my mind. It was like someone who was a miracle worker, but in reality, she was like using the power of demons or something like that. So it was like actually kind of twisted. But people thought, oh my gosh, like she's so holy. It's like, girl. So just like be wary. Again, Baylor is a big old question mark in this. Um, the energy, the source behind this wild magic surge, I don't know. But all creatures get -X, where X is the greatest mana value of a commander you own. Now we have two commanders. One of them has a mana 2 value. One of them has a mana 4 value. There's only one creature on the table that has more than 4 power or toughness, strength or toughness, and that's the Wrathful Red Dragon. It would be reduced to 1/1. Now, if the Wrathful Red Dragon is reduced to 1/1, it would be more likely. Yeah, it's 3. Why did I say? What did I get? Because it's the mana value. Okay, I was like, where did I get 4 from? I'm assuming maybe that's incorrect. This is full of twists and turns. Because I was assuming that Ganax Astral Hunter would be on the side of the Wrathful Red Dragon, but we have this street urchin background for Ganax. And I'm still trying to find the U in this. If Ganax is the creature, then Raffle Red Dragon would have 1/1, and through some plot or ploy, the Blood Boil Sorcerer may be able to take down the Wrathful Red Dragon. It can't as it is, but if it can weaken it, it can. Even if the 2/2 would still work. So the other value is 2. So it would take the Wrathful Red Dragon to 3/3. And if the Blood Boil Sorcerer can distract the Wrathful Red Dragon, it may be able to survive its encounter. But if not, it would be like a mutual destruction type thing. So this Cloud Kill is actually potentially very bad news, of course. Now, the U in this could be Ganax, the Astral Hunter. And then the Street Urchin background would be like, because again, something in this is like the U in this reading doesn't necessarily know who they are and what they're capable of. So if the Street Urchin is Ganax but doesn't know that it's Ganax, then yeah, I don't know. Anyway. Can get you to work against yourself or your own interests. But isn't that what like devil energy does? Like I've seen some things lately where it's like there's someone who is very dear and very precious to someone else, and that someone else is in danger. And because that someone else is in danger or has been missing for like a decade, the rationale of the person is affected. And they're fed purposeful misinformation to the point where it's like, if you act against this other person, you will undoubtedly be basically plunging your own sword into the very heart of the person that you are desperately trying to reunite with or save. Oof. Yeah. I mean, unless it's the Blood Boil Sorcerer, because somebody needs to take care of it. No, the wild magic, but I guess that's wild magic. Anyway. Um, it's a need for clarity. Did she come out? No. But that's why it's so important to understand that sometimes what we know or what we intuit, what we perceive, we know, intuit, and perceive in parts. That's why we would do better by investigating rather than just going off of our perception. Because our perception, according to this, our perception will fail us, but our investigative ability will not. If we apply our intelligence or intellect to the situation rather than our wisdom alone. But I wonder if that almost. All right, have a good night, Eve. I wish I could go to bed. um, it almost lines up with how lately it's been a lot of like forget everything of the past. Like you'll have those tools when you need them, if you need them, but don't walk into a new situation with an old mentality. Don't apply old wisdom to new situations because it won't serve. Something about it could actually be detrimental. Investigate, take some time, figure it out. As the acrid fumes drifted through the lower city, even the vermin ceased to soar. There's someone else that took the initiative. Whenever a bloodborne sorcerer enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. This bloodborne sorcerer takes the initiative. You had to take the initiative to venture into the Undercity. You took the initiative. But now when this thing shows up, it takes the initiative, which again, it plays into its ability to like distract. I'm not going to say what this distraction is or it could be. I will say, though, again, go beyond the perception and actually investigate. I think because of how the world worked and operated, at least for a time, there were a lot of distractions that were present. And maybe with the knowing and understanding that, see, there's a part of me that like wants to leave it up to interpretation. To allow it to resonate. There's another part of me that's like, get to the point. My Sagittarius North Node is like, get to the point. The rest of me is like, oh, well, it could be about like anything. So I will say, I'm not going to take it as it resonates, use your own discernment. But it's more of it again, it kind of falls in line with the just be mindful of applying the wisdom of yesterday to today. Because something about like with investigation, you will find out that the situation is different if it's different. If it's not different, apply yesterday's wisdom because this is a problem from yesterday. If it is different, it may require a new approach or a slightly different approach. So it's almost like there was so much distraction for so long that it was effective. But now that we have wisened up to the energy or to the tactic of distracting, it's almost like there are things that can be done right before our very eyes that we apply the wisdom of yesterday. Oh, it's just a distraction. Don't pay it no mind. But it's actually not. Like this is the thing that's actually unfolding, and now it's unfolding in front of our eyes because we think it's a distraction, because we've been trained to think it's a distraction because of what it was, but it no longer isn't. It's like this game where the rules keep changing, and as soon as you catch on to the rules, they like change the game. But again, if we keep applying the wisdom of yesterday, we can miss it and it unfold right under our noses, right before our very eyes. The investigation intelligence will tell you if it's truly whatever or if it's more. And I think that's how we can sort of unwittingly and unknowingly play into things. That's why we are this character in this story of like, will we defend the dragon's hoard or will we also try to get our share? You know? Will we play into the hands of the blood boil sorcerer or will we rise to the truth of who we are? Next. Is this you, the young red dragon? Is this the you in this? Because it identifies as young red dragon, I'm assuming the storyline so far is playing out. You will see the truth. You will make the right choice. It feels like this would be a situation because the blood boil sorcerer is here. This would be the type of situation where there is a right choice and there is a wrong choice. There are a lot of things that are gray. There are a lot of things that are not clearly good or bad, right or wrong. There are some things, maybe very, very, very few things, but still there are some things that are clearly right or wrong, some things that are clearly good or bad. And to play moral gray when it's not is basically to play into the hands of the blood boil sorcerer. Bathe in gold. Create a treasure token. This is a flying young red dragon that can't block. For most, deadly. For a dragon, decadent. Are the dragons immune to cloud kill? That's the thing about it. Feels like the blood boil sorcerer will have some kind of like gas mask or contingency for this. But cloud kill affects everybody. All creatures get minus X, minus X. Your own creatures are not spared. But again, that's the nature of the blood boil sorcerer. It's an energy that has no allies. It'll screw over anybody and everybody. It would screw over itself if it could. You know? For most, deadly. For a dragon, decadent. At the very least, it doesn't work on this young red dragon. At the very least. It's also possible that it doesn't work on the other dragons either. See, there's this like super play energy now. Like the dragons are almost playing dumb so that the blood boil sorcerer reveals its hand. And the dragons are so good at acting. Look, it even has 4 like mana, equivalent to Genax, the Astral Hunter, tying for the highest mana count on the table right now. Is that what that's called? Yeah, tying for the highest mana value on the table right now. The dragons are so good at acting that the blood boil sorcerer thinks that it'll actually work. And maybe it's the young red dragon that doesn't know how to act. Maybe it's the young red dragon that's like, fine. And maybe the blood boil sorcerer's like, what? How are you okay? Like, this is a -3, -3. This young red dragon at the very, or -2, -2 at the very least. So it should have 0 toughness and 1 strength. It can't block anyway. Oh, maybe that's it. The young red dragon can't block anyway. Maybe that's why the blood boil sorcerer think it's sufficient. It's like, oh well, when I apply the cloud kill to the young red dragon, it can't block, so it must be effective against dragons. The young red dragon just doesn't know how to block. The young red dragon doesn't have a concept of being on the defensive. But either way, it won't work. Cool. 3 cards, 4 cards left. Run away together. Oof. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. What is this? What is this? True love means always knowing what's on the other's mind. But we have this like mind flayer here that's embracing this like goblin. For a brief moment, and that was a lizard. Um, the one reading or the one booster pack where was that also the Undercity? came out where the mind flayer was there, and it was like this whole thing. It came to my mind when the street urchin came out. Something about street urchin made me think of that young lizard guy who was trying to get ancient treasure or whatever, but had accidentally unleashed an ancient evil upon the world. Almost like, so in the show that I'm watching, um, with the ice stone, with the sky diamond, the stone with the power of the sky, it's like the Triforce. Whenever Ganon comes back, whenever the Triforce of power makes its move on the world, the forces of wisdom and courage are there to meet it, to stop it. And in that show, it's like, oh, the ice stone has resurfaced. They're using it for this wicked sorcery. So the person born under the king star will also appear to combat it. So it's almost like, because things had gotten, because the potential for a better, brighter future came closer and closer to happening because of the state, because of trendy spirituality and people just like coming to the point where they really want lasting changes. Like we're talking about a lot of things, and there's a lot of like discourse about a lot of topics now that didn't necessarily, like, it didn't happen to the same degree on the same stage before. And we can say what we want about like politically correct culture and people being snowflakes or whatever, but there's more and more and more and more people now that are having conversations about like mental health. The concept of like mental health is more of a thing. Taking a mental health day. Now people aren't just like, there's more and more people who aren't working for just like anything. Like there's more and more people who even in the workplace are starting to like demand a certain level of like decency and respect. There are people who may be in like toxic relationships or in toxic situations that now, because we talk about it so much and so openly, not only can they identify what they're in, but there's also like more and more and more resources to leave. So it's like the potential for better and brighter also brings this same level of like an increasing darkness or whatever. It's almost like crab in the barrel. Like it doesn't want to let go of anybody. Young blue dragon. Sand augury. Scry one, then draw a card. Then exile this card. You may cast a creature later from exile. I see the far side of tomorrow and the lost memories of queens. What do you wish to learn? Oh, interesting. Not only do we have Runaway Together as water, but now we have a young blue dragon. There's a lot of fire on the table. And what isn't fire? It's either shadow or light. Light is Lae'zel Lakith's champion. Shadow is Cloud Kill. Everything else, besides the plains and the swamp. Oh, that's the land of light, the plains, and then the land of darkness, the swamp. Everything else is fire. Like literally everything else. But now we have this water that's coming in. I see the far side of tomorrow and the lost memories of queens. What do you wish to learn? Should I look like before and after the high priestess? Obviously, this could be. Oh, it's still on the table. The King of Water. What do you wish to learn? Giving me the energy of the deck dungeon challenge from the King of Chalices, Archmage of Water. You get to ask 3 yes or no questions and receive a truthful answer. He's still on the table. He came out after, the egg that the Ace of Fire was holding on to. I also like this. I like the energy of getting a truthful answer to a yes or no question because, again, there's so much of an energy of like things are not necessarily as they seem or necessarily as they appear. And even the wisdom through which you perceive things can fail you. But if you investigate, if you dig a little deeper, you'll get to the truth. And especially like for people who are intuitives or for people who learn to live by their perception, it can be such a tricky spot to be in because, again, it's like you're not the only one that knows how perceptive you are. And if you go purely off of perception, it's almost giving me one of the cards in Diceology, a contaminant blowing in the wind, searching for an open eye, or a well crafted illusion. The thing about the well crafted illusion is that it's like well crafted to an individual. Anybody else would be able to see the illusion for what it is. So it's almost like this mix of specific beliefs and confirmation biases and stuff like that that makes it so believable to one, where someone else may go like, wasn't it obvious? But again, like perception, it can become superficial, especially when our perception is based off of patterns. If our perception is purely like that's why love bombing may be like a tool in a certain person's toolkit. Because it's like if you initially perceive them as loving, then like it's almost like that's the association that you have with them. That's the assumption that you have of them. Like all they gotta do is like love bomb for a little bit and then like you're bought in full, like full stop or whatever. But it's like the act doesn't have to go that deep when we go purely off of perceptions, especially perceptions based off of patterns. But if you were to investigate, you would see right through it. OG, the exquisite blade. Legendary creature, a human monk. When OG, the exquisite blade, enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life and scry 2. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, exile up to 1 target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So if you happen to pick up something that doesn't belong to you, play 2 spells and you can return it to sender. Maybe that 2 spell rule is, again, it's like if you investigate, if you dig a little deeper, it won't, if it's not of you, if it's not true, it won't pass a second time. Because even again, like it had a DC of 10. If we had received a tome of understanding in the past, we would be wise enough to, even though our perception would fail with that tome, it would barely pass. But as soon as we move to the next challenge of 5 chalices, we would fail. And the last card is the Decanter of Endless Water. We see the Decanter of Endless Water again, and it's in the same art style. You have no maximum hand size. Add 1 mana of any color. You can have as many cards as you want, and this decanter of endless water it can provide any color mana that you need. I actually wanted to look it up the other day, but I didn't. Hey, I'm not gonna judge. But if you know that it's something that you need to get rid of, or something that you need to bring into balance, then all the best to you. Temperance, sending you temperance energy. Decanter. A decanter. It's a vessel that is used to hold the decantation of a liquid, which may contain sediment. Okay. A decanter holds the decantation of a liquid. Did you know that? Okay. What does decanting do? Decanting has numerous benefits, including separating the sediment from the liquid. This is especially helpful for red wines, which hold the most sediment. Decanting also enhances a wine's flavor by exposing it to fresh air and allowing it to breathe. It aerates the liquid. Okay. If you're wondering what to use a decanter for, note that these vessels let the spirits mingle with the oxygen and breathe, encouraging nuanced aromas to open up and bloom. While decanting won't improve the spirit's taste, it won't do any harm to the spirit as long as the closure is airtight. Decant water. It would remove the sediment from water, I guess. It's the process for the separation of mixtures of immiscible liquids or of a liquid in a solid mixture, such as a suspension. Water that has separated from sludge and is removed from the layer of water above the sludge is decant water. We have the swamp here. Goodness. We'd be able to decant the water of the swamp. Okay, right. And provide water for this desert town. Cool. Also, of course, it's giving Aquarius energy. On the new moon in Aquarius, we entered the year of the dragon. The new moon in Aquarius is the marker for the lunar new year. I'm like, wait, it's not full moon in Leo, is it? I'm pretty sure it's new moon Aquarius. I'm pretty sure it's new moon Aquarius as the marker for the lunar new year. Interesting. Run away together. I guess we got young red dragon, run away together, young blue dragon. So I don't know if there's this like these two dragons running away together. Like you got this, or maybe that's the point. Because I'm like, this is a mind flayer. Like a mind, if a mind flayer flays your mind, it's gonna know what you think. That's not true love. It's not true love, honey. He flayed your mind. Okay. He can read your mind. She can read your mind. That's not true love. Like, oh my gosh, you always know what I'm thinking. Like, yeah, they're a mind reader. It's not necessarily like coherence or resonance that allows some to read minds. But with a little bit of investigation, we would be able to find out. Move. I want to move. Move. Did I not see that earlier? That is a good question. I am a big proponent of not guilting, blaming, shaming ourselves for the things that we need to do to keep us in the game or to keep us like sane for as long as we need them, right? If you identify it as something that you want to cut out, then maybe it's like your need for it is waning. But don't be too harsh on yourself. Unless you need to be harsh on yourself to stop if you want to stop. It's a whole bucket of worms. I know it's a can of worms, but you'll catch more fish with a bucket than a can. Not that I condone fishing. RIP all of the fish that have lost their lives. It's like everybody is getting into fishing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that poor fish. That poor fish. Fish and plants, like, you know. But my number one fan said it's because she said I used to like fish until we got a pet fish. And then I stopped liking fish. And at first I thought she just like made it up. I was like, no, I didn't. But I tried fish one day, like 2 years ago almost, and it made me sad. I took a bite of it and then I got sad. I was like, oh, okay, well. I'm not necessarily vegetarian, but I can't do the fish. Oh, speaking of fish, there's a whole school of them. R.I.P. Cool. And we do have the Two of Cups here too. That was the deck dungeon challenge. Is the Two of Chalices. But in the challenge, we have to choose between two chalices. Excuse me, almost in a way, there are two different Two of Cups energies that were presented if we view them as chalices that are presented in the challenge. And maybe the challenge is in identifying the right one. And again, like, do some investigating. If we go purely off of the perception that is based upon the patterns that we've perceived, we could be just as easily fooled. Like, and there's an energy of like somebody wisening up to us figuring out the game. Again, it's like if reverse psychology used to be the way that we go about, like if they say go left and you go right, like it only takes a certain amount of time for someone to discover every time I say do this, you do the exact opposite. Once they realize that, they're probably going to pretty immediately just start telling you to do the opposite of what they want you to do so that you do what they actually want you to do while you think that you're outsmarting them. And it's like, but you're playing like right into their hands. Again, it feels like it's related to the energy of distraction. But we're so keen to like suss out the distraction, or we're so quick to call everything a distraction now that things can happen right in front of our faces. And we go, oh, like, oh, it's just a distraction. Like, ignore it. And it's like regardless, a little bit of investigating will tell you the truth. I could be wrong. I could very much so be wrong. Maybe the distraction is a distraction. Okay, I'm gonna get a final one of these first. Not that there's like too many to pick from. The plains, after spending all day trying to track down a rare tome, you're about to give up when you hear your name whispered from a dark alley. And bottom of the deck is Baylor. Still don't know what role Baylor plays in all of this, necessarily. Maybe Baylor disguises. There are certain metals that you can add to fire to change the color of the flame. Maybe Baylor adds magnesium to his flame whip to make it look purple. Whatever fire you add, I think magnesium might make it like. I think magnesium might actually be purple. Magnesium flame color, bright whites. Which one is purple? I thought, oh, wait, here's the thing. Thank you. Purple is potassium chloride. No, here's violet. So violet is 3 potassium sulfate, 1 potassium nitrate. It looks like potassium salts are going to turn the flame purple. Magnesium will turn it white. I think Baylor, if Baylor is an antagonistic energy, it seems like Baylor would be smart enough. Like Baylor's intelligence is 20. Baylor is as smart as the smartest human. And it's more charismatic than the most charismatic human. Has supernatural constitution, charisma, and strength. Not it's wise, not the wisest. It's decently wise and decently dexterous, but it's just as smart as the smartest person. If we know, Baylor knows. Baylor knows, add a little bit of a metal salt to the flame, I can make it appear violet. So we see the violet flame of Baylor thinking it's the divine and like, girl, that's Baylor. If we investigate, we'll find out. If we don't, I guess roll the dice. But it's like it's that kind of energy, I guess. Just because I don't know what side of the table Baylor falls on, but it's not that hard to make a purple flame. Like potassium salts, potassium chloride, potassium sulfate. Like you can get potassium from bananas, and you can get chloride from table salt. So I guess I'm not saying a salted banana will burn violet, but it might. If you can get the potassium from the banana to bond with the sodium from table salt, you can make a violet flame at home with ingredients that you can find at the grocery store. Bottom of the deck is this 3 of collaboration. The card that came out is this 9 of hoarding. It's a 9 of being well paid. I don't know. This is almost like someone who's outcast. It's like they're all in the same bar type pub. Or this person could be like, oh, I just got back from this like well-paying job. This round of drinks is on me. A round of drinks for the whole tavern. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be nefarious. Cool. I guess I'll read this one though. Like I'm looking at these dice. And I'm like, I don't even know what I would roll. Let's see. If we try to so we're not. How did this end up here? What we're not going to do is outpower Baylor. We're not going to outdrink, but like our constitution isn't going to measure up to Baylor, and we're not going to be more charismatic than Baylor is. We can try to be wiser or more dexterous. We can be as smart as Baylor, and this is like without any over 20 modifiers. Like we can try to be more wise, to be wiser than Baylor, or to be more dexterous. Because every other stat is 20 or above. But it has a wisdom of 16. I rolled an 8 earlier. We were half as wise as Baylor. Maybe it's just Patrick. Maybe it ain't we. Like I said, grab your own D20, roll your own D20, or you can ask. You can Google it. Roll a D20, and then it'll roll for you. Um, yeah. Oh well. It could. I mean, Baylor does have a constitution of 22. Baylor is like the I don't get drunk. So just don't bet against Baylor in a drinking contest. I kind of want to roll, but maybe dexterity. I haven't rolled for dexterity. What is dexterity? Like that's like sleight of hand. No, go back. Go back. Which one was it? Dexterity affects acrobatics, sleight of hand, and stealth. Funnily enough, though, there's another show that I'm watching right now where they kill. Well, I'm watching Demon Slayer, but there's another other show that I'm watching right now where they're fighting demons and they're winning. So hey, the demons are very confident because the humans are humans and they're like, "Oh, you're mortals, and we regenerate so fast. I'm immune to magical and physical attacks." But it ain't winning. You got the right. Now that is someone who is like they're superhuman already. They're not the average ordinary. And according to these cards that came out today, you're not either. So hey, whoever that young red dragon or young blue dragon or whichever dragon, whoever got dragon blood in them, dragon kin of the dragons, whoever is blessed, highly favored, a favorite of the divine, that favoritism gives you a capacity, a capability to go beyond normal, average, ordinary, everyday thresholds. So it could be possible for you. The crone came out, and there's this crow up in the tree. We see this moon opening. That's probably the moon phase right now because we just had a new moon not too long ago. That crescent moon. I don't know if it's waxing or waning. There's someone going in the forest. You see her down there? There's the crone. Bottom of the deck is the Ace of Earth. A green dragon. We've seen the red dragon and the blue dragon. There's the green dragon. All right, so that's what I got. Thank you, Matthew and Holly and Eve for being here. Thank you, Matthew, for staying with me. I know Holly had dinner and Eve drifted off to sleep, but you toughed it out. And all my drink is gone. All the wine is gone, which is fine. I probably need to hydrate anyway. But I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, and way you find. And I hope the discernment to know when to look a little deeper. Or I hope you the discernment to be able to differentiate your intuition or your intuitive perception. I hope you the discernment to be able to differentiate your intuitive perception from your pattern recognition. Because chances are, if you're starting to recognize your patterns, you're not the only one. I think that's how it works a lot. It seems like a lot of times there are things of ourselves that other people see before us. So it's like, for some things, I guess, especially by the time we see it and recognize it, there's at least a handful of other people that have seen it and recognized it. Like, imagine the people in your life who you could see their patterns before they see it. And then they're like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know why this always happens to me. And you're like, well, it's because you keep making the same choices. Different characters, same role. Different actors, same character. Different places, same situation. So by the time they see it and they're like, oh my gosh, did you know that I did this? And you're like, yeah. You're like, why? And they're like, why didn't you say anything? And it's like, and then you're like, I did. Or vice versa, you know? I don't know. Anyway. All right. Those are my wishes for you. I will see you next time. Bye. Thanks again.